Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of this conversation on inspiration and creativity. If you're new here, I'm Cheryl Wilson. I'm an abstract artist, and I believe, and that's what this part 1 and part 2 of painting neutrals, from painting from within, letting intuition guide the process rather than chasing our inspiration. In part 1, I talked about creating paintings that will inspire, embracing the idea that inspiration just isn't something that you need to go out and hunt, but rather it's something that I allow myself to receive. And today we're going to be talking about the concept even further by diving into painting a large abstract painting. That's not just about the final piece, but about the process and the experience of the painting itself. When working large, there's this incredible freedom that comes from having more space to move, to express, and to layer your paints and layer your mixed media in. It becomes a full body experience. You do bigger gestures, bigger brush strokes, larger tools, more room for the unexpected though. So within that freedom comes a lot of hesitation sometimes. Where do you start? How do you keep the conversation balanced without overthinking? How do you get past that ugly stage? A large painting, you're going to be painting the beginning, you're going to get into this middle stage, which a lot of people feel is very ugly, and then finishing the painting. How do you do this? So here's the secret that I believe. You don't have to force it. Just like we talked about in part 1, instead of searching for the perfect idea, I feel that I trust what's already within me, and I want you to trust what's within you. So what I did is I had already taken a canvas that I had painted on top of with some gesso, and I left a little bit there. You can see in the middle where I left some pieces, and I'm just laying down some mixed media pieces like I did on the small ones. Of course, again, you got to remember this is a larger canvas, so everything needs to be a little bit larger. I grabbed the napkin, and I always rip the back off, and I just use the top part, make it a little bit thinner. And I'm just looking around the canvas. Do I even want to use these pieces? I lay them down to look at them. Whether they end up in the finished piece or not, I don't know. This is a piece of like a ribbon. It's kind of like a burlap ribbon, and I always rip it up because I like the look of it all ripped up instead of, just the generic ribbon. So I'm taking a look at that. I'm pulling pieces apart. This is where I let the painting kind of talk to me as I'm working through this process here. That's a piece of cheesecloth, and I love the cheesecloth because it's you can scrunch it up and put it in with some like a matte medium, and you can spread it out. That's a piece of gauze, and you can actually poke your fingers through it and make holes, but it's the two of them together I really like. Whether this ends up in the painting, I don't know. I'm just letting the pieces, I'm just enjoying this part of the process. Just looking to see what I have, looking to see what I might want to put down. If you're in a series, you may want to use some of the same pieces that you use throughout. But this one, I'm just actually playing with it, and I'm looking to see what I might want to put. You can use any type of medium that you want to glue it down. I'm going to grab some matte medium. It's more liquidy. Nothing there is really heavy, and I'm just going to be gluing it down. So the process at this point is just looking at it and building the layers. Sometimes you're going to be building big loose strokes. As you look at this, this is a very neutral palette. And I'm letting the things I'm putting down, I'm letting it dictate basically what it's going to tell me to do the next one. Sometimes I'm going to be putting marks down with a palette knife. Sometimes you'll see me, I'm going to be putting a lot more texture in here. You know, nothing's set in stone at this point. I'm just enjoying this part of it and moving on to the next. So I'm going to let you watch me paint for a little bit, and I'll pop in and fill you in on some of my thoughts in a little bit. I wanted to take a little break here and just direct you to a free gift that I wanted to give to you. I did a things I love list, because as you're painting your paintings, I love to write down things that strike me while I'm being inspired that I know I might want to use again and I might forget. So when I get stuck, I go back to this. So the things I love is a free gift to you. The link will be in the description below. It's most of you that have gone out to my PayHip account have already seen these. Periodically, I try to do a free gift for you. No coupon this time. It's just free. And I want to thank to those that I just want to take a moment. Those that have joined my membership. It's just a membership. There's no extra data or extra videos right now. It's just that you're doing this to help support me, and I appreciate it. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate those that are supporting me in that way. I love you, and it's just very kind of you to do that for me. And I want to thank those that last week purchased some of the things on my PayHip account. I sold quite a few, and some I had coupons on. Some of you didn't use the coupon. You just gave me a little gift, and it's so appreciated. If I do a free coupon for you, I am just tickled that you use it. I'm just appreciative to all those that support my channel in any way that you do, and for those that subscribe. Just wanted to break in and mention that, and I won't blab any more about that. All right, we're at the point now where everything has dried, all the stuff that I've put down. And I'm liking a lot of the texture here, but I want to push this texture back to be more of the whites. I want to bring out some more black. I want to bring some more contrast in here. So I'm grabbing some foam brushes, and I have some white, and I have some black, and I have it in high flow also. So let's start with the white and just start covering up some of this texture that we built. What that's doing is bringing it forward, bringing up the light. Let's just add some more here. Any of these areas that didn't get pushed down, I will go back and finish pushing those down. I initially thought I may have one concept of my composition, but I don't worry about that in the beginning because that can always change. So I'm looking at it now, and what happens for me is the painting starts to take its own form and talk to me. And I think what's happening in this painting is this texture is really talking loudly and coming as a focal point here. So let me come in with some of this. Now my foam brushes are dry and I'm dipping it in the thick paint. And so there's not a lot of high flow type liquid. That's mixed in here with some of the white, kind of like graying out a little bit. Gray down some of this. We'll see about the bottom there. I kind of like that. The layers underneath have really taken on a language with this texture before I even got to this point. I'm going to do the highlight here. Again in some white. Highlighting some of that. I'm going to go back and forth. With the black. Like I said, some of this I can glue down with a matte medium. So I'm at the point where I might want to come in with some pencils. So I've got the Stabilo Woody here, and I also have, this is a Toison Dior. I'm gonna do some of my writing. I might do some down here. Just enough to make it look like there's some marks. I love writing on my canvases, and that might be enough. I mean, you don't have to have a lot on here. So let's let that dry and let's see what we think, and then I'll do a photograph of this up when it's dry so you can see it a little bit better. I also wanted to show you a technique that was in one of my paintings that somebody asked me about. I'm going to see if I can recreate it on paper here. This is just a little bonus while that's drying. And I'm going to do it with black high flow and couple. There we go. I'm going to put some pepper. Well, a lot of the drips here. I'm going to dry this because I want to show you the next step. This has to be dry first. About as dry as I really want it to be, or I need it to be. Now we're going to take the drips, and it's the concept I'm going to show you here. I want some more. Okay, I got a lot of drips. Let me let this dry. So this is about as dry as I want it to be. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go in, and I have a couple sizes of brushes, and we're just going to paint little windows. I want to thank you so much for watching to the end and watching the little bonus. Next week, I'm going to show you a canvas. This is a rather large one. I think it's a 20 by 20, where I do some special crackle paste, and there's some other types of texture on here. But we're going to do another large canvas.